Welcome to Backstage Pass. I'm your host, Mike Shea, and this week's guest is Ash Costello of the band New Year's Day. One great thing about Ash, I've known her for a number of years, is that she just talks. She's like Telly from The Word Alive, and I'm not saying it in a bad way. I'm like in one of those very comfortable ways, and this conversation we go over a lot of topics in a short period of time, and it's awesome. We talk about being young Goth kids. We talk about her influence that her grandmother had upon her when she was a kid. We talk about we talk about the Haunted Mansion ride, because she used to live literally almost a few blocks away from Disneyland, and we actually got her to recite the opening speech from that ride. I'm going to keep this short because it is such a fun interview, and they have a brand new EP out. It covers songs, actually, Diary of a Creep. And she covers Don't Speak by No Doubt, and Gwen Stefani's a big idol to her. And she also does a cover of Only Happy When It Rains with Lizzie Hale of Hailstorm, which they actually did at the APMAs this past year. And also New Order's Bizarre Love Triangle, which is pretty cool. And we also bring up William Control, or Will Francis of Aiden, which is, I guess, par for course, because you should always do that. So anyway, here is Ash Costello from New Year's Day. Ash, thank you for being here. This is going to be kind of a fun podcast because Paulo the Bulldog is underneath the table right now chomping on his phone.
Doing guest vocals over
yes.
there.
yeah, he does screaming, barking.
Well, he does the guest snorts.
But he has to be here, though, because you are an avid pet lover and animal lover. And we've talked about this for a while. Like, you are one of these people that are literally always on the brink of going in and buying out a pet store.
Yes.
That you think is being run incorrectly. What's been like some of your latest activities because you do a lot of philanthropic work for this, mm-hmm. and you find homes for dogs and so forth. Like, what's been lately going on with that?
Well, when I'm on tour, the easiest thing for me to do is, when Walmart is like the staple of any tour, whether you're in a van or a bus, you always end up at a Walmart like 100 times a week. So Walmart always has these fleece blankets on sale. If anyone's listening, they're on sale for $2.50. So we'll go and we'll buy like 50 or 100, whatever we can afford that week, and drop them off at the local dog shelter. So we just did that yesterday at the. I have the information. I would love to put it on the podcast, maybe at the end of it later.
Sure.
Because it's a no-kill shelter in Parma.
Okay.
Ohio? Is that right?
Yep.
Parma, Ohio?
Yep.
I have the phone number and the address. And I love that they were no kill. We went in there, but they had a lot of dogs, maybe 150 to 200 dogs. And they were all mostly puppies. And there were a lot of pit bulls.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot of that.
I know. And I wanted to go play with them, but I have a hard time doing that. I went in for like a second and I was like, I can't do this because I'm going to take them all with me. So we just dropped off the blankets yesterday, especially because it's cold and those little guys need blankets. I don't know. If we could do more, we would, but that's the easiest thing to do on tour.
I think Derek Hess works with that no-kill shelter a lot. I think he raises money for that.
Actually, we stopped at a lot of shelters around the country, and that one was really awesome.
Was it?
Yeah, I like that it's no-kill, obviously, and the people there were really nice and really friendly. Because there's times where we've dropped off blankets at a no-kill shelter or just any shelter, and they kind of look at us like, oh yeah, just throw them in the corner. Like, oh, okay.
Right.
They don't really seem like invested.
Yeah.
But the people at this one seemed really stoked and really invested and really excited that the dogs were going to have blankets. And I just got a good energy from being in that one. So
I was just going to ask you, who do you get more mad at? The people that work at some of these places that you kind of, I don't know, I want to say investigate, but because some of these places aren't.
I've seen some bad ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are some really bad ones.
Or do you get mad at the people that drop the pet off?
Both.
Yeah.
Both. There was one. I think I've told you this story, but I want to tell it again. It was in North Carolina, and this is probably like 4 years ago. And there happened to be a animal shelter in the same shopping complex as the venue. So of course I went over there, and they only had a few dogs, mostly like birds and reptiles and stuff. They had a few dogs, and they were in the smallest cages. The dogs couldn't even stand up all the way, and the people in the shop were smoking around the dogs. Just it reeked of cigarette smoke. And when I took the dog, I asked if I could play with one of the dogs. And when they took it out of the kennel, it wouldn't stand up all the way. It hadn't been taken out in forever. And, it was just really upsetting to see. So I ended up buying the dog and giving it to a fan. So the dog's super spoiled now. I wish I could have bought, there was like 4 or 5 dogs, but for some reason this dog specifically, I was like, I can't leave this dog here. I just can't. So we call the Humane Society normally, or get fans to call the Humane Society on places like that. And that particular pet shop was shut down.
Wow.
A couple years ago.
Wow. Have you had any other instances like that where you've activated the fan base to go after?
Yes. I can't think of anything specific right now, but sometimes it's not just animal shelters. Sometimes it's people we see on Instagram that are being abusive. So it's a double-edged sword. You try and get an Instagram shut down, but then how does that help? Or maybe I've been curious, like, does that affect authorities finding out where these people are? I don't know. So I don't really know the right protocol for stuff like that. But in the moment, you get so fired up, and then you posting like, everyone get this motherfucker taken down. And but most of the time, the dogs that I network online.
Told you. Now
he
he's snoring.
sleeping?
He's snoring.
He's sleeping.
Yeah, he's fake snoring.
Fake snoring.
It's just like
he's up
him
now.
just like pretending he's
It looked
sleeping.
like he was sleeping.
Oh yeah, but he'll do that for a little bit.
He's on my foot.
It's
too.
okay.
Anyway, it's okay. Bye. I don't even know what I was saying anymore.
We were talking about fans being activated to.
Oh yeah. So sorry, it's so funny. He's
Now
so
he's on
cute.
mine.
He is so cute. He
He's
is so stinking cute. He has
75
such a
pounds.
handsome face.
He is. He's got that underbite of a bulldog.
I love when dogs have underbites, maybe like a googly eye,
Oh yeah.
or
sure.
if they're missing patches of hair.
Missing patches. Okay.
I love it. That's the kind of dog I need to have.
That is
Yeah,
right.
I
Or
need the
there's that
uglier.
friend of yours that has like that dog. What musician has a dog that has 3 legs?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh my God! Now I'm gonna come.
Yeah,
I'm gonna think
that's-
about it tonight.
Someone does have a dog with 3 legs, and they were recently posting about it too. Because I don't know.
There's
know.
somebody we both know that's a musician that's got a dog.
Yeah,
with
I
3
can't
legs,
think of it
and I
off the
can't-
top of my
yeah.
head.
And then then you got Telly from We're Alive with Colby.
Oh yeah,
that
I
little
know.
French
Colby's so
bulldog.
cute.
Oh,
I always
yeah.
see him at Warped Tour. So I get upset at the people that run the shelters, obviously, but I get really upset when I see, because I follow a lot of dog networking Instagrams to get dogs fostered, and I hate the stories of senior dogs that get dropped off.
Oh, those are the worst.
Yeah, I get
Yeah.
really upset, and I've dealt with a little bit of controversy online because you can't make everybody happy.
Right.
So when I post, I'm upset about it. People go, "Well, I had to move out of my apartment. I had to give up my dogs, not what I wanted to do, and you're saying people like us deserve, to go to hell." And I was like, okay, obviously, if you can't, I don't know what the right stance is. I don't know what to say to make everyone happy. I just know that it breaks my heart.
Have you had any national organizations and stuff like recognize you for what you've been doing and reach out to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I donate to 2 of my favorites. There's one called Hand and Paw, and there's one called Rock and Roll Rescue that I discovered at Warped Tour. They brought all their little dogs to Warped Tour, and I have a monthly fan club that's like a subscriber-based fan club, and we donate to either Rock and Roll Rescue or Hand and Paw every month. So, but there's one that I've been following that I want to donate to next month called Slaughterhouse Survivors.
Oh wow.
I know you're familiar with the Yulin Festival and dog slaughterhouses, and again, very controversial, because when I post about it, a lot of the responses are, "But what about, are you vegan? Why aren't you, what's the word? Like fighting for pigs in America or cows in America, or, I wish I could fight for them all, but I'm only one person. I can only do what's close to my heart, and the dogs in the slaughterhouses, that just like keeps me up at night. So I guess maybe like part of it, maybe a little bit of it's even selfish, because it makes me feel better if I know that I can help in some way.
There's a friend former friend. I haven't seen him in years. And when we were growing up, he had a dog that he kept outside. His family kept outside in the backyard, and had a dog house. And the dog was tied up 365 days a year on a chain. And the dog basically had worn into the ground several inches, like a half circle period. Half circle path. And but then now you read like every other week, there's another study that comes out and says dogs have feelings, and dogs can read humans' eyes, and dogs, and so they're becoming more and more human. And then you start going like, wow, like you've basically been torturing many humans in a way.
Well, I just like, man, if I let myself really get into it, Like if I'm laying in my bunk on our bus at night looking at these things and I'm just like there in the dark and I really let myself settle into it, it's incredibly disturbing to think there's people out there that don't understand that animals have feelings and dogs can absolutely empathize with human beings. Like whenever I've been sad, my dogs know. It's like they know.
Huge.
Yeah, they come up and they nuzzle you. And I always say, I swear to God, humans don't deserve dogs. We don't. We don't deserve them.
So at least the question, do cats suck?
No animal sucks. I'm sorry. But I recently
You're not one of those?
Well, I would have said, if you had asked me like a year ago, I would have said, oh, cats kind of suck. I mean, all animals deserve rights and I'll fight for every animal, but I'm not a cat person. But then my boyfriend and I rescued a cat. And now I want another cat.
Oh, God.
So I don't know what's happening to me.
We need to get you a very big shoe that you can live in.
With all the animals.
And they're all just in there. So
Except for I don't want any birds.
No birds? You're not a bird person.
Yeah, I'm good without
So
birds.
birds suck.
No, I don't think birds suck. No. You know what? Okay, spiders suck.
Wait a minute. Hold on. You were like, take out the ska period. You're
goth,
pretty much,
I know.
and you spiders?
Everyone goes,
Really?
aren't you supposed to love spiders?
Yeah.
And, no,
No?
fuck spiders.
What about spiders do you not like?
I wish I could tell you.
Is
I
it
don't
the
know. I
8
just don't like
legs
them.
and is it the
I think it's because
million
they're
eyes?
fast
Oh,
and
yeah. They can be.
I don't know. I don't trust them. I think there's
Trust
something
issues.
untrustworthy about spiders. I don't know.
There's
don't
some
like
lyrics in this, by the
Yeah,
way. You
that's
really need to
true.
think about that.
Maybe there's something deeper going on.
I think
don't
there
know.
is. It's kind of like
But
a nightmare.
I did a photo shoot for a magazine about a year ago, and I'm not gonna say the name of the magazine, but they always have these wackadoo ideas.
Mm-hmm.
These like wild wackadoo crazy ideas, and one day they crossed the line with me, and they go, "Will you put a tarantula on your face?"
Oh,
And I said, "No fucking way in
turn
hell."
into a reality show now.
No, but then I did it. I fucking did it. I did it.
How did you get psyched up for that?
I drank a lot.
You drank.
I drank a lot.
What did the trick? How many shots?
I don't remember. Probably a lot.
Probably a lot.
And I was very specific because I'm like the kind of person that like.
He's on your foot again.
It was just little snorts. I always like to see what he's up to. There he is.
Yeah, he's just checking
he's
you
good.
out. He's cool. He loves you.
So they wanted me to do the spider thing, and I was like, okay, I'm the kind of person where I can't back down from a challenge. They were like, totally cool. You don't have to do it. You can just do a regular shoot. And I was like, now I feel like a giant pansy. I feel like a giant wuss, and I can't live with myself with it. So I was like, fine, I'll fucking put the spider on my face. Took a couple hours. They put the spider like a foot away from me. Then I took another shot, and then they put the spider on my foot, and I took another shot, and then they just like put on my leg, and then it slowly made it up to my face.
Okay.
And at that point, I didn't even care anymore. I was so hammered.
Was it staying still? Like, was it cooperating?
Well, this is the thing with spiders that I learned. So they brought two spiders to trick me. They brought one that was bigger than my hand.
Okay.
Because it was up on the glass, so I could see how big it was.
Oh, yeah.
Then they brought one slightly like this big.
Okay, a little small one, about the size of your palm.
Yeah, and so they did this, so I'd go in and I'd be like, I'm not putting that fucking thing on my face, but I'll put that one on my face.
Small one, yeah.
Yeah, so I'd feel like I got to choose.
Mm-hmm.
Where does he want to go?
I don't know what he's doing.
Don't leave us.
So you got to choose the spider.
So I got to choose the spider, and as soon as they took it out, it darted across the room, and I went, nope, we're not doing this. No, not doing it. And they're like, oh no, she just has a lot of energy. Its name was Petite Feet.
Okay. I was just going to ask you if these had names.
Petite Feet.
Petite Feet.
And they go, oh, Petite Feet just has a lot of energy, so she needs to just run it out. So they let her run around the apartment where I was shooting. I think it was with Lindsay.
Oh,
The
okay.
woman we just mentioned.
Okay.
It got tired.
Okay.
And it just stopped moving. So it just like plop it on my face and just stayed there.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? Its feet have these like little hooks on it. Well, I've never held one, so I didn't know that. And I could feel the little hooks in my cheek. Like what you'd imagine like a little staple would feel like.
So did that help you kind of, it's kind of like if you're afraid of heights, you go skydiving. Like, did it help?
No.
No.
No. I'll never, I don't know. You think it would, but no. Gross.
So the drinking just kind of
just numbed me a little bit.
Submission.
Yeah.
You talked in our cover story that we did with you this past fall with Cassie Witt, and she did this amazing cover story and nothing but compliments on it. You talked about your grandmother, and she. So let me understand this correctly. She did special effects.
Yeah.
For horror movies, or she did.
She did some horror movies, but she mostly did theater. props
Theater.
for like live
Okay,
theater.
okay.
Which I recently was talking about this and I was like, what the fuck kind of plays was she doing? Because there was always a lot of weird shit around the house. Mm-hmm. She'd always say it was for theater.
Now,
But she was
did she
like,
live with you, or did she just go over there a lot?
oh, my mom was a single mom.
Okay,
So,
all right. So you lived.
my grandma would pick me up after school and I'd stay there till my mom got off work every day.
Okay.
Except for on the weekends when my parents, one parent, whichever one would take us that weekend. So
Okay.
I was there 5 days a week till, from 3 to 10 at night every day for years and years and years and years. And
You said the house was just full of stuff.
yeah, she was highly eccentric. And I wouldn't say a hoarder.
Okay.
Because when you say hoarder, you think of stuff not having rhyme or reason or
Right.
being organized. There was just a lot of stuff. But it was always like really interesting stuff. It was a really magical place to me, like as a kid. She had so she would do special effects props. She did like movies. She did a lot of set design, and she worked for Disney as well. Like I remember there was one of the dolls from It's a Small World. She was there doing restoration on, like it broke
wow.
a finger. I remember, and she was like, I don't know.
Wow.
And so at a very young age, I have like a very vivid memory of her teaching me how to make human intestines out of old nylons, which is like your typical arts and crafts thing for a 5-year-old,
Yeah.
6-year-old.
Yeah. Just take that into show and tell.
I know. Oh, my show and tells were so weird. I was the weird kid.
What was the best show and tell? Do you remember?
Yes, I do. I got shut down.
What? Oh, yes.
I got shut down.
Down
You're gonna
with
like
the
this.
system.
You're gonna
Okay,
like this.
yes.
One. Okay,
Censorship
so
at 5.
my very first cassette tape I ever owned, I had to have it, was Queen.
Oh, yes.
Specifically,
Very
I
good.
told my mom I need the cassette tape that has Bohemian Rhapsody on it.
Yes.
And I was in 3rd grade. And I brought in my little boombox into 3rd grade show and tell, and I put in the cassette tape and I pressed play, and I wanted the whole class to just sit there and listen to Bohemian Rhapsody. That's like a 6-minute song.
Yeah. No, it definitely is.
I didn't
Especially
realize that as a kid. And so I wanted to just share this wonderful
your relation
music.
to time
yeah.
and space was a little off. Yeah.
Way off. And I didn't realize, like, we're all 3rd graders. No one wants to hear this shit for 6 minutes, but I thought it was the coolest thing in the world.
Of course.
So I put the tape in, I sat down, and I remember putting my head down on my desk because I was just like, let's just all listen to it. And the teacher tapped me, and she's like, we're going to turn it off. I don't even think it, like, made it to the, like, where Bohemian Rhapsody like, really kicks in with the piano.
She was probably a James Taylor fan.
I don't, based on the way she looked, I don't know. She probably listened to, like, Bible music or, like, hymns or something.
Right.
What do you call
Pat Boone.
Psalms?
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
I was never religious. I don't know. Whatever those are called.
So you didn't even make it through Bohemian Rhapsody.
No, that was my worst show and tell. I don't think I ever showed and telled again. I think I opted out every time.
That's when the therapy started because of that teacher.
I forget her name. Mrs. Curry.
Oh,
Her name was Mrs. Curry.
well, that's the name of a song.
Mrs. Curry? Yeah. Or
telling-
a Thai dish.
Or a
Yeah, I remember her.
or a Thai restaurant.
I was never a
drag
teacher's
Thai
favorite.
restaurant.
I
Yeah.
was always like the one, like the troublemaker, but I didn't mean to be.
Well, you talked about it, like you purposely would go to school and dress, try and get some sort of a shock value. I guess my wording.
Yeah. I would go to school. I have like another like very vivid memory of being in, I think, 6th grade, and specifically putting together an outfit where I wanted to get reactions from people at school, and if I didn't, then I would amp it up the next day. But back in like when I was in 6th grade, there wasn't looking back, wasn't anything really that shocking. It just was to 6th graders in the 90s. I guess it's not that hard to shock anybody back then.
What was the first record that you got that you felt like, it's like you when you're young, you kind of listen to music that your parents may have listened to or their generation, but then there's that one that's your generation. It's like, that was my record. My mom, it's the one that your parents didn't know what the hell's that?
Ooh, there's two. No Doubt, Tragic Kingdom was my first CD.
Okay.
My first ever CD. My parents did not understand it. And I don't know
didn't
how. How
understand
do you
No Doubt?
How do you not understand? Because I used to play Tragic Kingdom, like the actual, just the song on repeat. And I think it just annoyed them. My mom would hate when I played the specials.
Oh.
Fucking hated. My mom hated the specials. Hated it.
Was
It annoyed
it the
her.
horns? Was it the...
It was the vocals.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What-
Ghost Town.
What she didn't like about him. Like
It annoyed her. It just annoyed her. I'd put it on on the way to school, and she'd turn it right off. Hated the specials. And then Marilyn Manson, not Dope Show. Mechanical Animals.
Oh, that will definitely start the generation gap.
Yeah, my dad threw it away.
Whoa. So did you get another one?
Yes. And you know what? I'm very vocal about how I don't have a relationship with my dad now, but I wish I did. So when I toured with Marilyn Manson, I could be like, oh, in your face, Dad. Look at me now. Throw away my Marilyn Manson CDs.
Yeah, you kind of talked about that. Like, he kind of said like he kind of found a way to kind of put you down at times. And he said when you first got into Hot Topic, and he said something like only losers shop at Hot Topic, and it still kind of took away the pride that your band got in.
Yeah, took the wind out of my sails on that one. Well, I don't know why. I think a lot of my drive comes from. Yep. He sleeps so cute. It's so cute. A lot of my drive comes from proving people wrong.
Yep.
And I think one of my biggest like drives, and it's not unhealthy to say it now because it's not really a drive that's there anymore, but it used to be, was to prove my dad wrong. And so when we first got our shirt into Hot Topic, I thought that would be like a look, Dad, my band's a real thing.
Sure.
And I remember sitting at the dinner table and I told him, and he replied with, only losers shop at Hot Topic. He's like, you don't still shop there, do you? And I was like, no. No. I mean, I totally do. And it's kind of a bummer because, like I said, I have no relationship with my dad now, but I wish he could have seen like when I had the clothing line in Hot Topic,
sure.
Which I still don't think would have impressed him, to be honest. I don't think it would have. I remember the first time I got signed. This is probably like, when's the first time I got signed? Probably 2005.
Okay.
2006. And I wasn't expecting any money. I didn't know what I was doing, but they cut me a $10,000 check like that day. They're like, oh, here you go. And I was like 19 or 20. I don't know.
With the $10,000 check. The
$10,000 check. And I took it home to show my dad. And he goes, that won't even buy you a car. And so I didn't know what to do with it. And I blew it. And it's because I didn't have anyone like
to manage it.
Yeah, showing me what to do with it.
It's hard to find that person. You didn't have Will Francis yelling at you.
No, not yet. That happened. Will Francis came into the picture 2009, so I still had like 4. He still yells at me all the time.
Yeah, he yells at anybody.
He still yells at me. Now I like give him a disclaimer. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna tell you, this is gonna make you mad, but I gotta tell you what's going on because I need advice. And he goes, God damn it, Ashley. And I'll never forget when we toured together, I always ask him for advice. And there was like a table like this with a bunch of like beer bottles and drinks on it. And he jumped up on it and he kicked it all down. He goes, when are you going to stop letting people take advantage of you? And I'm like, wow, okay, calm down.
He is like the dad to everybody. He really is. He's got the cigarette smoke, the right wear,
He's
whole
got the
thing.
smoking house jacket
and
the dad slippers.
And the
Don't forget the dad slippers.
yeah, totally. Yeah, exactly. He's the guy that comes out and says, yeah.
Yeah, he does. 100% dad slippers. And he's always been so good to me, even when no one gave a damn. Because nobody gave a damn. That's when you find out who your real friends are. Real, yeah. Nobody gave a damn about me or New Year's Day for a long time, because that's how bands start out. I think very rarely does a band have to get to skip that part, and I don't think it's a healthy thing if a band gets to skip that part. I think that's a big part of the character building of everything.
Isn't that the criticism for a lot of these bands? They're kind of like they're managed by some huge company and they never played Warped Tour. They never did the 200 cap rooms. You just go immediately to opening up for some band. I mean, maybe it's great. I wouldn't know because it's not my story, but I feel like you lose a lot of artist building, If it works out for you and you're lucky enough to skip the shit part, well, then that's great for you, but I wouldn't change it for me. Oh my gosh. That means he's falling into a deep sleep now. Yeah, that means he's
dreaming of beanies and leg warmers.
Kind of like when you get comfortable in your bed and you're like, okay, the pillow's just right. That's what he just did.
First loud snore.
Yeah, that's exactly what he just did there.
That was a really loud, long one. Does he sleep in bed with you?
Yep. Yeah.
Can you sleep with the snoring?
Oh yeah, it's when you have a bulldog, or Telly's talked about this with Colby. Like you have this dog snoring and with you all night, and so when like they're not there, like they're staying in a friend's house. It's hard to sleep. Like if I travel, he's like white noise.
Oh, do you have like a little voice memo?
No, I don't. I should do that. I really should. Yeah, it's weird not having him next to, and he takes up the whole bed, so I'm literally on the last fourth of the bed.
Mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. That you
Yep, there he goes. Probably somebody knocking.
That actually scared me a little bit. He looks so unamused.
Yeah, no, he's just like trying to play guard dog, but he doesn't.
He looks like a good guard dog. He looks exactly like the cartoon dogs.
Oh yeah,
Totally.
On Bugs Bunny.
Yeah,
yeah, the
totally.
bulldogs.
Or Tom and Jerry.
Oh yeah, Tom and Jerry bulldog. Yep,
Yeah.
yep, really, and they're all just pussy cats. So you don't have any room on your bed either?
No. Now there's a cat
Oh.
that sleeps at the head. And now I want another cat. God help me. Because I think our cat's lonely. Like, he doesn't have a cat friend.
Well, that's how it starts.
I know.
That's how it starts. Because
I
then
know.
the two of them, it's just like, well, what if they had a sister? Or
That's
if
what I said. I said he needs a sister. Because he was a little rescue that was found underneath a porch meowing. And his eyes weren't even open yet. Like, just a tiny,
wow.
had to be bottle fed little guy. And so we want to get another one that's maybe was abandoned or lost by its mom, like that young, and start it that young again. And I don't know what I'm thinking. It's already hard enough leaving all the animals on tour now. Like, throw another one into the mix. But
who watches them when you're gone?
my mom watches the two dogs,
Okay.
and my boyfriend keeps the cat.
Got it.
Yeah, because he has to go to work, and dogs aren't as independent as cats are.
Right.
So, my two dogs, Barnabas and Gremlin, who are both rescues and very ugly. So ugly cute. And the cat's very handsome, unfortunately. He's a very good
That's why
looking
you want
cat.
to get another one.
I love those hairless ones. They're really,
yeah.
really ugly.
Yeah.
I want one so bad. I always see Franz on his Instagram story with his cat Carl, his chicken, he calls it. I want one.
Everybody wants to get those Egyptian cats or Chinese cats or whatever.
They seem very loving, but I just like that they look so hideous.
Oh yeah, no, they're very
They're
gothic.
very ugly.
Very gothic.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like
the
it.
feline version of the goblins on the side of the Notre Dame.
The goblins, they do look like goblins, like little
Right?
wingless goblins.
Exactly.
Oh, see, now I just want one more.
See,
No, but
collect all 12.
The problem with those is they're very sought after, so they're very
Expensive.
Expensive, but you don't ever. I like rescuing an animal. I would never buy an animal.
Yeah.
If one ever came up for rescue, then sure, but I want to buy one.
I get it.
No, I'm very anti like buying animals or animal breeders, which is another controversial thing I can't talk about online because people get really upset because well, my mom breeds dogs for a living, or and that's fine, but I just don't like it.
How do you stop yourself from getting trapped into a back and forth online with a troll?
I'd say 1 in every 100 times I give in, and then I need to do it to remind myself why you shouldn't do it, because you can't speak logic to the illogical. And if someone's already starting a fight over something completely illogical, they've already made up their mind and there's nothing you can do. And I'm the kind of person that like wants to reason with people.
Right.
It's not that I want to like, you have to see things my way. I just feel like I want to help them. Okay, this is a good example. I use this story now to kind of paint how I get with these people. So there was a day on Warped Tour where me and my boyfriend Jimmy got invited to the Fancy Cheese VIP Warped Tour party.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
We got the invite.
You 1%ers.
Yeah, we got the invite. I was like,
Yeah.
dang. I looked at you and like,
Park Avenue, you guys went.
We got the fancy wine and cheese party.
Beverly
and
Hillbillies. Yep.
Kevin was there, and I've talked to Kevin a lot about my dad.
Kevin Lyman.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry, Kevin Lyman.
Yep.
And we were talking about my dad, and I don't know how that. I wish I could tell you how this came up, but somehow the story shifted into someone that was bullying his daughter online.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I remember that period.
Yes, and for whatever reason, the people make up in their minds, and that he found out who the girl was, found out who her parents were, reached out to the parents and said, like, I'm worried for your daughter. She's going down a bad path. This is what she's spending her time doing, and I can relate to that. That's what I want to do. I want to like reach out to them and be like, come to a show. Let's sit down. Like, I feel like you're going down a path that's not good. I want to talk to you, and 100% of the time, it never goes well because they've already made up in their minds what kind of person they want to be, what kind of views they want to have, and especially what they think of me. And there's no rhyme or reason to it. So I've had to it's a struggle with myself to not want to help everybody with it, like not want to save people.
Right. I think it's difficult. I think one way to look at it is you're right. You hardly ever see comments on a message board or like on newspaper on a media site or on Instagram or on Facebook where somebody who you're getting into it with goes, okay, you're right.
Never.
They never.
Oh,
but
no.
It's not that person you're trying. You're trying to get the people that are reading it that aren't saying anything, because they're the ones that ultimately.
That's true.
They're like the judges. They sit back and
Yeah.
go, okay, they won that one.
Yeah.
Or that person won that one.
Yeah.
And so that's ultimate. But you can get sucked into a vortex. You
Yes.
never get out of it.
I recently and it doesn't happen to me very often because I'm really good at, well, every now and then I cave. And I recently caved about someone. Okay, I'm going to get real here. Sometimes fans get really invested into your personal lives.
Sure.
Which I understand.
Especially now.
Yes. I was a teenager once. I remember being a teenager and I loved Brandon Boyd from Incubus. He was my crush. And I remember I was a silly teenager and I hated his girlfriend. I hated her because I was like a teenager. I was in love with him. I didn't understand my emotions yet. And I look back and I was like, how silly. What a silly 12-year-old you were, you know? And so I understand these kids, that's them now, you know? But I can't even imagine how different it is having Instagram and having so much access, even more than ever, even more than I did, into the personal lives. Not only access, investment and entitlement as well. So that's just a recipe for things getting out of hand very easily, you know? And I work with a lot of guest vocalists who are guys, and a lot of assumptions can be made, especially when it comes to New Year's Day and Motionless in White. Those two fan bases are very involved. So recently, Chris spoke out, and as did I, to kind of like try and get fans to calm down or maybe not put so much investment into what he's doing, what I'm doing, what we're doing together, what we're not doing together. And that backfired. And that's was like a big...
How?
Fans got upset with him. Fans got upset with me. Fans got upset at my boyfriend. Fans got upset at his girlfriend for all kinds of mush pot of reasons that some are so like, I don't even know how these things get made up. So we were both like, I wanted to say something to kind of set the record straight. And it was almost like fans didn't even want to believe it from my mouth.
It's like fan fiction, right?
Yes. Like that's become
They're shipping people, so to speak.
That's weird.
And if you're breaking off the script
if you're breaking
that
up the
they've
ship,
pre-written in their head,
yeah, it's a real thing. It's a real life thing, and they get very invested. And I'm like the kind of person, I'm very empathic, and I can see things from every point of view. So I understand where they're coming from. I understand they're teenagers. I understand that they right now, you know, maybe all they do is go to school and then have Instagram, and that's fine. That's, you know, they're kids, and I try to see it from their perspective. And man, I have just like, I can't even imagine the pressure that the generation now has to go through having social media.
would you want to be that young now?
No. Fuck no. No. Couldn't pay me. No. I can't imagine the pressure. Because I got teased in high school, but I was able to go home. And then I couldn't imagine being teased at high school and then bullied by people with fake accounts online who aren't scared to say the worst things. And then you go home and you're bullied all night. And your parents don't understand because they're from a different generation. You know, if my kids in the future are bullied online, I'll understand because I was young enough to still be around it and understand it. And I just feel so bad for these kids. I feel so bad. Could you imagine having MySpace or Instagram or Facebook when you were a teenager?
Oh, it's in so many ways it enlightens you, right? You know, you find other people that maybe are that freak like you.
Oh, that's true. That's
you know,
that's the
so there's-
upside. I don't want
mean,
to forget the upside.
You know, but on the other side of it, you are exposed to the world, and the world is following you around 24/7.
I don't want to forget the upside of it. You're right.
You know,
Because maybe you're right. I've actually never thought of that. What if I had Instagram when I was a teenager and I was able to find the other goth kids
right?
or the other kids that thought comic books were cool?
From all over the world.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool too. But man, the pressure that comes with it.
Well, and that's there's definitely another side to it, and what it does for an artist of any type. I mean, your personal life is invaded.
Yeah.
It really is an
I
invasion.
can't get mad at it because it comes with the territory. How can you be mad at it? How
So
do I
what-
want people to invest in my band and not and force them to separate the two? So I understand it, but I want to help it. But I have had to learn I can't.
So if you could write Ash Costello's rules of social media decorum for fans, where would you say It's like, okay, you can do this, this, and this, but when you get to this point is where I start getting bummed out.
When assumptions are being made and things turn ugly, because I promote kindness. One of the things I post the most is kindness is goth as fuck. I just want everyone to be kind. That's it. Just be kind to each other. So when things start getting ugly, that's where I would love the line, be invested in my personal life. That's fine. I don't mind that. But when really dark assumptions start getting made, and then fans start fighting with each other and they start calling each other really awful names, then I wish that's where the line was cut off. Or if I could make the rules of Instagram, I'd make it where you can't have anonymous accounts.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because I feel like
completely.
that makes people act in a way that they wouldn't normally act in everyday life.
Yeah, the whole Discuss platform and all that, I don't support it at all. We did that with AP. We went to Facebook accounts, and and to a certain extent, and there's been a lot of opinion columns written about this lately. But in the day and age we now live in, politically, it's kind of seems to have given people that were shutting their mouth up before about how they felt about minorities and LGBT and stuff. They feel like they now have the right to start saying, no, you're this and you're that, and you are a problem and you are this, and so it seems like the bullying, I guess, in that sort of sense,
I think it's
kind of kicked in again.
giving a much more open door to people feeling safe to bully, because they can do it behind an anonymous account. So if there's anything I could change, because who uses an anonymous account to do good? Nobody. No one would do that. I feel like I guess what you'd call troll accounts.
Yep. Yep.
Or the anonymous accounts is just a gateway for a lot of ugliness. So if I could push reset, that's what I would do. And there's no shortage of it. You can make 20 of them if you want for different things. And I very rarely ever see any ugliness come from a specific personal account where it's the person is saying, this is me, this is how I feel. It's always some sort of fake account. So, no good. No good.
Did you ever dig into investigating these kind of fake accounts and find out it was somebody you knew?
Yeah. That's happened to me. That's 100% happened.
And maybe somebody like in the business sense that was trying to destroy you or take you down or something.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Absolutely. A lot, actually. You've known me for a long time. Like, you know that I've had to learn after being in the music business to be a little bit less open to who I let in now. Because I'm the kind of person.
What did Will say? What was his quote? He said something about letting the snakes in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think people. I'm not trying to paint myself as innocent or victim or an angel or anything. I'm a human being with all the downfalls of every other person. But I think people who genuinely have good intentions or good heart get more bad people in, because your door is a little bit more open.
Yeah.
And so, people that I've given money to or helped out business-wise or let into my world, I've noticed are always the ones that fuck me the hardest. Sorry for the crude way of saying that, but that's kind of what I've learned. And I learned that in more than ever in 2017.
How do you not end up being so you don't trust people then? Where you go there?
I just have to be I feel like, and I like to talk about this too, because I feel like this is an issue that most New Year's Day fan demographic deals with a lot too, because everyone deals with this type of stuff, and I feel like you just need to have your senses just a little bit more alert and just look for the red flags and not give people the benefit of the doubt as much as you normally would.
So have you changed how you take a look at a business relationship now, or something, like when somebody sits down and say, hey, I have an idea for something, and do you kind of change how you scrutinize it? You look for those.
Yeah, and I'm now, in 2018, I'm going to have people earn their way with me a little bit more. Instead of I trust you until you give me a reason not to. Instead, it's going to be I don't trust you until you've earned my trust, which is the big difference between last year and this year for me. Because I was always I love you till you give me a reason not to.
Got it.
That doesn't work so much. So, unfortunately, I hate to say that.
It's a part of growing up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not the naive, but it's kind of like the... everybody in the world is out for loving reasons. It kind of goes away. Yeah. You learn that some people
it's made me appreciate the good people a lot more. Not that I didn't before.
Sure.
But now I'm just more thankful for the good people that, have been around for years and aren't, have an agenda or trying to just get what they need and then they can move on, But yeah, I've had people make fake accounts who they've admitted, I found out who they were on my own, or they've admitted it to me. And
Admitted it to you?
Yeah, admitted it to me, and we've talked about it, and one of the most heartbreaking ones was a ex-band member's girlfriend.
Oh.
Who I barely even knew. And she was in a music video, and I wasn't able to pay her for the music video. But I like having the guys' girlfriends involved, because I want them to feel invested in what their boyfriend's doing.
Right.
And so there was this makeup she wanted that she couldn't afford. And I went and bought it, and I was going to drop it off at her work and surprise her with it. And I was like, I left going, I made a new friend. I'm making friends, because I don't really make friends that easily. And about a year ago, I found out one of the hate pages was her. I know.
And the reason was?
I was never given a reason.
Wonderful.
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot that comes with being a female in a band. And I was recently discussing this with the Butcher Babies as well, because they've gone through similar things where if you're a female in a band amongst men, there's all kinds of other people's garbage that gets put on you that has nothing to do with you.
Like what?
Maybe other people's, I don't want to say girls, it's not just girls either, other people's insecurities or feeling threatened or feeling jealous. There's all other people's garbage that they have going on in their lives that they dump on you. And what I've had to learn is this amazing saying that I tell myself all the time, which I look at them and I go, that's not my monkey, that's not my circus, that's their shit. And if that's what they want to dump on me, it's so not my problem. I'm just not going to involve myself in it anymore.
Is it because being female, there's kind of this instinctual thing for a guy to kind of look as a female leader as a mom?
Sometimes. It's either comes into a mom or
because you'll see that in male bands, right?
Yeah.
Where there's like somebody is the mom, somebody's the dad.
Totally,
right?
totally.
Yeah.
But I am totally the mom though. I am totally the mom. I take care of all the guys.
Do you ground them?
Yes. Yes. I had to ground Frankie last week. Yes. He was on a no drinking timeout for a whole week. I'm not even going to tell you why.
Did you take his phone too?
No, but I would if I had to.
Because that'll cripple anybody.
No, I know. Don't take the phone. That's messed up. That's how I'd punish my kids. Take the phone.
Take the phone.
Yeah.
You have
I don't
to.
know what my parents would do for me. There was, we didn't have a cell phone when I was.
They didn't take like your CD player or your.
No.
No.
And I'm trying to think about it. I didn't have anything cool enough to take. No. God, when I
that's
was
the
in
whole
high
point.
school, I had to use the pay phone.
Oh.
What are you gonna do? Take that away?
Can you imagine a band? I mean, I don't want to sound old, but you can imagine.
I know. I hate dating myself too. But
A band trying to do. We were going to do that at one point, but bands trying to, travel and book tours only using payphones.
we were just talking about that a couple days ago. How without Hotwire, without Google Maps. Mm-hmm. But not to date myself either, but we toured like that. I remember having
the Rand McNally
going to the gas station that state and getting the state map.
Yep.
And having all the state maps on the dashboard. And then I remember when you were able to get those like Magellan GPSs, that was that was the game changer.
Right.
Because I was touring, when we started touring, there were cell phones that didn't have internet.
Right.
That was no iPhones. There was no iPhone, even though I'm making myself sound like I came from the dinosaur age right now. But I remember that was really hard. It was so hard.
But you got your chops.
Yeah.
And if somebody ever takes out all the satellite systems, you could still tour.
I don't know if I could now because my my phone, I'm so acclimated. I was going to a writing session at a studio in Los Angeles before this tour, and my phone shut off. Like, it just stopped working, and I couldn't find my way.
What?
All the internet stopped on my phone. I had to call my boyfriend and have him look up directions so I could figure out how to get where I was going. I was completely worthless without my phone.
Without saying it on this, can you recall your boyfriend's cell phone number?
No, not at all.
That's how bad it's gotten.
I remember in school, I knew all my best friends' phone numbers. I knew my mom's work phone number. Now, no. If I was in an emergency and I had to call him and the phone was off, I'd be screwed.
And and having to use a payphone and then calling the wrong number was the worst part.
Or if you had a crush on somebody and you had to call their house and the mom answered, and you had to ask for, hi, is like Steve home? Those were the days. I liked it. I miss that, honestly. I'm sad that like my kids' generation won't have that.
Right.
I don't
right.
even know what they'll have. That's
Now
a
it's
scary
all about
thought.
just new phone. Who dis?
Yeah.
Yep. What's when did you decide? Like, what was the moment? Where was the moment that you decided the duotone hair was going to stay?
Was going to stay? I never considered it not staying. So there was never a moment where I was like, I'll just keep this. When I did it 7 years ago, because I recently had to do the math because someone else asked me this not too long ago, just in conversation. I did it because I always dyed my hair crazy colors. There was no rhyme or reason. I didn't do it going, this will really work for my band. I'm gonna get them all with this one. I just thought it'd be really cool. It was just a new thing to try. I really liked Harley Quinn. Batman's my favorite. There's a whole debate of if he's a superhero or not, but I'm just gonna say he's, my favorite superhero. And I just loved it. It felt like it gave me a lot of confidence. I liked who I was with the hair. And then for whatever reason, it caught on because of the band. And now my boyfriend, I recently had all black hair for a wedding because she wanted me to match the wedding. And my boyfriend looked at me, he's like, no,
really?
It's like you were just born with half red, it's just you. And so I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon.
So, but it's really, it's from a, I guess as a branding thing, that's what you're known for.
Who knew? But
Right.
I think that's why it works really well too, because it wasn't contrived or like done in a way where I would hope that it would help my brand. So I think that's part of why it works. Just a natural thing that just worked.
Now, do you still live very close to Disneyland?
Like an hour now.
Oh,
which
that's
is too
an
far
hour out. It's too far.
me.
So you used to go there a lot when you lived by.
Hell yeah.
I actually, at one time, not being a stalker, because I was curious, because you always talked about, like, let's go to Disneyland. And so I actually looked up in Google Maps where you lived next to it, and you were right there.
Yeah. I could ride a bike and get there in like 10 minutes maybe.
Oh, yeah. I could see that.
Or it
Yeah.
took like less than 5 minutes to drive there.
And your favorite ride there was?
I feel like the obvious answer is Haunted Mansion, but my favorite ride's Thunder Railroad.
So how many times do you think you were in the Haunted Mansion?
Oh my God, Mike, I don't know, 1,000
Really?
maybe.
So just as
Let's count. Let's see. I've been going there since I was like 5. Let's say I went 20 times a year. I'm not good at math, so that's a lot. I don't math. I don't math.
You don't math.
That's why I'm a songwriter. I don't math.
You don't.
No, it's a lot.
So I actually watched a documentary about that, about how that one changed over time and stuff like that.
Haunted
And,
Mansion?
yeah, it wasn't even completed till after Walt Disney died.
Yeah.
And so just out of curiosity, from the moment you walk in the door there, can you kind of call out in succession?
Mike, are you kidding me?
Yeah, go for it.
Not only can I say the entire speech,
Oh,
I can do the one in French.
what?
Well, it's in English, but he says it with a French accent. It's the
Right,
same.
because it's all based in New Orleans.
I can't do the Japanese one. That one's too hard. But I have it. I recently I got to do the Haunted Mansion in Paris.
Ooh,
I know, it was so cool. It's called
how different is it?
very.
Really?
Yeah, it's called Phantom Manor.
Okay.
And it looks totally different. It looks like my dream house.
Oh,
I'll show you a picture later.
yes.
It's pretty cool. And Vincent Price is the narrator, which
Wow.
is badass.
Yeah, that's very...
And the story in Phantom Manor is wrapped around the bride in the attic and her long lost love and how she's heartbroken. But it's very weird. The ride didn't make a lot of sense. No. There was like, you go down, for the most part, it's pretty similar to ours. And then it just swiftly changes. And you go down to these catacombs and it gets very Iron Maiden.
Oh, sure, the catacombs. Yeah, of course. Right.
Very Iron Maiden. Like there's a bone band and they're like rocking out. Makes no sense at all. And then you go into this western town where everyone's headless. And that doesn't make any sense. And then you go into this vortex where there's like a corpse bride like being sucked into a green light. And then it's the end. And I was like, that got really weird. I don't really understand what happened there.
Were you supposed to do some shrooms before you walked in?
Maybe I think they were the ones doing the shrooms when they built the second half of it. But I was not complaining. It was beautiful, really cool. The music.
Vincent Price made it for me. That's all that matters.
And the music is very pretty, and the Phantom Manor is like very music boxy, very a haunting, very beautiful. But the Haunted Mansion is
So what's the speech? Give me the speech.
Oh my gosh!
You can't do it on the spot. I don't want. I mean, if you
I'll
can't,
do it on the spot. I
don't
need
want
to think of
embarrass-
the first line.
No, that's okay.
What's the first line? I want to do just the stretch room for you,
Okay, yeah.
but I have to think of the first line.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know that.
The first line I'm thinking of is it right here in my head. Is this haunted room actually stretching, or is it your imagination? And consider this dismaying observation: this chamber has no windows and no doors. You really gonna make me do this?
Yes.
Which offers this chilling challenge to find a way out. Of course, there's always my way. And then cue hanging guy, which is really inappropriate for children, I always thought. And then there's like the little bits in between the ride, but it's the stretch room one.
Right.
That's like, if you don't know that one, do you even Haunted Mansion, bro?
Yeah.
Do you Haunted Mansion?
Right. I've been in it a long time ago, though.
When's the last time you've been to Disneyland?
I can't say it. It was long before you were born.
That's a problem.
Yeah, it was the last time I was there.
Gosh.
Because every time I was going to Anaheim, it was for NAMM. And I was always getting sucked into that.
Now, I know I've said to you tons of times before, I'm like, I want to take you to Disneyland. Yes. Now, I'll admit I haven't been to Disneyland in over a year.
Did you see the video of the ghosts at Disneyland?
Which ghost?
There's CTV footage.
No.
Yeah. I think you Google it, and it'll probably show up on YouTube.
Is this recent?
Past 10 years or so like that.
Wait, the one that's walking through the park, like
yeah.
they showed it. Yeah, I have seen that one where they
that's creepy.
Click to different cameras.
Yeah,
and they say it's Walt Disney.
Oh, they say it's Walt Disney.
That's the one I saw was that Walt Disney just walking the park. Which if I was Walt Disney, that's where I'd be if I was a ghost.
Yeah. It's like Kevin Lyman walking parking lots afterwards.
Yeah, which parking lot would be the one he would walk? Probably
Pomona.
I was gonna say Pomona or Ventura parking lot would be the one he would be at for sure.
He's gonna haunt about 45 parking lots around the country.
You gotta tell him that. That's pretty funny.
Pretty much.
I've heard a lot of awesome things about Kevin, but I think that's the most awesome thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, you'll see. It's like you only see the ghost of Kevin Lyman at about 6 o'clock in the morning, and he's parking buses. 6
in the morning, mid-July, in the Pomona parking lot. Yeah, Pomona Fair Complex parking lot.
If the mist is just right.
That's where they'll send ghost hunters.
Yeah.
Kevin, can you hear us? Are you there? Right. What is it? What
catering isn't set up? Yeah,
catering isn't set up. Oh my gosh, I don't want to talk about Warped Tour, but I do because I'm really sad. It's the last year. That's a huge bummer.
Does it kind of say something to just times are changing?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a sign of anything like the end times or anything ending. Mm-hmm. I feel like people forget that things change. Is Woodstock still around? I mean,
right.
Things change, and in the 90s the music scene's not the same as it is in the 2000s, not the same as it is now. Mm-hmm. And who's to say that the times won't shift where Warped Tour will be huge, the next huge thing again. Mm-hmm. But I think for years people have been realizing that the traveling festivals is harder to do now. It's more about the 1 day, 2 day, 3 day festivals. Mm-hmm. Because I've done a lot of those, and those do really, really, really well. So whoever's saying, oh, music's dying or music festival's dying, like, it's not. It just needs to shift a little bit. Mm-hmm. That's it. Warped Tour will still be around, mm-hmm. I think, or it should at least. Mm-hmm. It's just going to look different. That's
It'll be like Warped Festival.
Yeah.
Right.
It'll just look different. And that doesn't mean any music scene is dying at all to me. Do
you still like touring a lot?
Sometimes.
Because, we're living in this time now, like, we see Paul Simon's retiring. Elton John's retiring, Neil Diamond, because he's got, doesn't have Alzheimer's, he's got Parkinson's.
Yeah.
And, and Iron Maiden, or not Iron Maiden, who's the other one? It just came out. Some Ozzy claiming
again. I feel like we're losing a lot of artists.
It's just it's a generation. It's a very specific of 1970s, 80s generation.
Yeah. And Motley Crue,
right.
I feel like a lot of the arena rock, like the stuff that's still able to pack the arenas is going away.
What do you think is the future going to be with a lot of this stuff? I mean, there is a lot of that talk, right? And I'm sure you probably had that talk with Kevin and so forth and other people where they're like, everybody's just going to be playing smaller rooms, like that arena size.
Yeah,
it's kind of like
that's okay.
You see a lot of these empty shopping centers that used to have big box stores and Kmart and that, and they're just empty now.
Yeah, that's true. Especially being a touring musician, I see a lot of malls. A lot of shopping centers, and it definitely feels like now more than ever, a lot of, it's not just music, just a lot of things that were once huge corporate stores and things that were trendy are kind of going away. Like Wet Seal went bankrupt. That was a huge place to shop when I was a teenager.
Sure.
Everybody shopped at Wet Seal. Who's killing it though? Hot Topic. Always killing it. They're not going anywhere. Hot Topic will be around. There'll be cockroaches and Hot Topic at the end of the world. You know what? That's awesome, and it just shows you can be done.
There's probably about 1,000 dudes that go to punk rock bowling that are probably really going to get mad at you for saying that.
Why?
They hate Hot Topic. Well, because there's that generational
love Hot Topic.
When I was starting AP, part of the reason why I started it was because I got tired of being looked down upon because I was just a goth kid. I was an MTV goth kid, literally, and so.
It's hard to imagine you as a goth kid. I need to see more pictures.
Well, I didn't go Robert Smith.
You should have.
Yeah, I should have.
You could still.
I could probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Look like one of those older British rockers, and I got to get the right haircut. And so so I used to go into an indie record store here in town, and it was full of these guys, and they were cool guys. I learned to meet them later on in life, and they were fine. But back then, it's like I would just go in and I'd look at albums, and you would buy them because it looked like a cool cover. It's like, oh, this is spooky. I don't know what the band name looks foreign.
I used to get album covers and comic books based on how spooky the covers were too.
Exactly. So, and you go up to the counter, and the guy would look at you, and he knew that you didn't know what you were buying, and he would just kind of like give you this dismissive look. And it was just like, or somebody would say, you don't want that one. And,
Did anyone ever say that to you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, do you remember what you were buying when they said you don't want that?
I think maybe one of the first ones I got was an Einstürzende Neubauten record.
A what?
Einstürzende Neubauten. Wow, I'm checking you.
Whoa, you are checking me right now.
No, that's like one of the premier German industrial rock bands of the.
I will admit, my
80s,
knowledge on
90s.
German industrial rock in the 90s is not vast.
Blixa Bargeld is a singer. All right, so I will send you.
You're saying crazy words right now.
Crazy. They basically were like.
Please send it to me.
Oh no, we used to. Jace went down to Columbus to see them at the Newport back in the 80s, and what they would do is they would go before the show to a local junkyard, and get all their stuff. And so
Stuff for what?
They get like car hoods and wires and coils.
For like the stage?
Yeah, and
That's
they would hook it
cool.
all up and put and audio, put audio on all of it, and they would just beat the crap out of it, and they would do this crazy noise music all the time.
That's cool.
And sing it in German, which made it even crazier.
Yeah.
And they weren't Nazis.
I do love German industrial goth, so I'm a little ashamed that I don't know this.
Well, today was a learning experience.
Is there even a better industrial goth than German industrial goth?
Wow.
I don't think so.
Were you in the test department? That's British industrial. They weren't fascists. They were they were definitely anti-democracy. They were like workers' rights, like stuff. But they were another one of these ones that were just really banging on steel and stuff like that. Very rhythmic.
Yeah. So
like
what did that make you feel like, after doing that and then Hot Topic springing up?
Well, I kind of felt like it was something for this generation that we didn't have when I was that generation. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like they have a place.
Yeah.
We did have like those cool indie record stores. Sometimes you'd have to go to a head shop, or you went to if you had a really good decked out, like what Newberry Comics used to be.
Yeah.
Stuff
yeah,
like that.
I loved going to the East Coast to go to Newberry Comics.
Yeah. And so they had
We had a store like that was very important to my journey as discovering what goth was, because again, I feel like we're just dating ourselves. That's what we're doing today.
Welcome to the AARP
we're just
podcast.
Reminiscing.
Next,
so when I was in high school, there was no Hot Topic. There wasn't. I remember the first time a girl at my school was like, I think you'd really like this store. It's called Hot Topic. There's one. But before that, and between hand making clothes that I thought were goth based on comic books or underground magazines or album artwork. There was this underground goth magazine I used to read in high school called Carpe Noctem.
Oh yeah. Yep.
That's where I got, you'd order the corset from the ad. Because where else were you going to get a corset? There was no internet either.
Nope.
I feel like a dinosaur. And so there was a store in Orange County called Ipso Facto, and that's where they had any goth records or comic books or magazines or clothing. And it's still there. Go them.
Yep.
Still standing.
That was
awesome. Whenever you're in Orange County, you got to visit Ipso Facto.
Oh, I'm sure. I've heard of that place. I'm sure you probably had that where you would be looking forward to hitting certain towns because you knew, like, oh, if I go to St. Mark's Place or if I go to some place.
Newberry Comics was one of the ones that we'd get really stoked on.
You would go and stock
up.
Or,
I was lucky that I didn't live too far from Amoeba Records either.
Oh, yeah, sure, Amoeba.
Except for I discovered the Amoeba Records in San Francisco on Haight-Ashbury before I even knew about the one in Los Angeles. So whenever I went to San Francisco for art school for like a brief, hot second, and I'd always get excited to go back because I'd go to Haight-Ashbury and they had
Sure.
Amoeba Records.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's also a sign of the times, just because how gentrified all these places have become now.
Yeah, even Hot Topic is very good at shifting with the times, but it's definitely not the same as it was.
Oh, sure.
You know?
Yeah.
There wasn't YouTube, you know.
Right.
When did YouTubers and all that become very popular? I'd say only in like the past 5 or 7 years.
Yeah, 7 to 5 years, yeah.
So, you know, and Disney now has a place in Hot Topic, which it would have never seen a Beauty and the Beast shirt in Hot Topic before. But I always look to them as the example, like that's how you shift with the times. You know, they're really good at it.
So I know we didn't really talk about it, and I know you have to go.
I'll talk your ear off, Mike, because we've already been an hour.
No. We've done great.
No,
it actually has, and
no.
they're saying you're gonna have to leave here in a couple minutes.
I don't have to go.
No, it's just
Okay.
Screw sound check. Who needs that?
Yeah.
So, and this may be unfair to ask with so few minutes to respond to this. Do you feel more hopeful now for women being a musician than when you started out?
100%. Yes, absolutely. More than ever. Not to say there wasn't females to look up to when I was starting out. There was so many. Debbie Harry, Susie Sue, Gwen Stefani. You know, there was lots of powerful women. But as far as being the woman in the industry, I feel like there is definitely more hope. I feel like it's a better atmosphere now more than ever. I feel like I've been doing this for 10 years, and the shift that I feel is definitely drastically different than in the beginning.
That's really awesome. Yeah. So chicken or egg, and we see this a lot with festivals. Like the lineups, they put out the festivals lineups, right? And then there's hardly any female fronted or run, primary female based musician bands. So you'll see the festival owners sometimes, or somebody working around that circle, say, well, if there were more bands that fans wanted, then we would book them.
Yeah.
And the fans are saying, you're not giving them a chance.
Yeah.
So chicken or egg? Or do you think it's both?
Oh, I think you could argue both sides, honestly. Yeah, you could argue both sides. And people always ask me too, the question I get a lot is, do you think it's beneficial or it isn't beneficial to be a female when there's so few females that are getting put on the circuits? And I always say there's a chicken and an egg. There's a red and black, there's an up and down, there's two even sides to that, you know, and there always will be. There always will be, because I think the ratio to women in rock and men in rock is just always going to be different. It just is. And I don't know why that is. And I hope that changes. I always say there's some girl in a garage right now, like making something that's going to blow us all away.
Exactly.
And hopefully that multiplies by 5 and 10. And, you know, the genders become more equal in the music industry.
Oh, yeah.
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 Like on Warped Tour, I feel like Warped Tour has always been really amazing at discovering females. And Kevin has always been someone that's, even if it's been a female fronted band that people aren't necessarily asking for because maybe they're not big enough yet, or maybe they're not known yet, he will put them on anyway if he believes in it. And that's 100% why New Year's Day got its start. People weren't asking for us. No one knew who we were. But Kevin gave us like our shot. So there definitely should be more of that, I think.
So, and man, I hate to leave it on that note, but I'm glad it was a note of hope.
Yes. There's nothing but hope. Right. There's nothing but hope for Warped Tour and music festivals and females in rock and fan bases and all the stuff we talked about. The future doesn't look bleak at all. It's just going to change, and it's definitely just going to keep getting more. It's just going to keep getting better. It's just going to look different. That's all. There's definitely nothing but hope.
Well, good luck with everything. I'm really happy for you. You got all this amazing things happening now, and you get new management, and you got this EP that just came out of covers, and you did a new Order song.
Mike, what do I always tell you when I see you? I tell you a lot of things, but
usually let's go to the Haunted Mansion, and then
one of these days, I swear to God,
we will go.
But you're not in Anaheim very much.
Hey, I got the speech out of you. I got the speech out of you.
And then when I'm in Anaheim, one day it's gonna line up perfectly. One day.
And then I can meet the 15 dogs and 20 cats you'll have by then.
Oh, yes. I hope so. I want a pug so bad. But I always say thank you so much for being one of the first people to believe in me and for
course,
being,
of course.
just an overall incredible person. So, thank you.
Same to you.
Don't
Same
stop
to you.
it.
And thanks for putting up with Paulo. He actually behaved.
Was that behaving act?
Yeah, that was pretty.
I don't feel
he's
like
passed
he was
out
bad
cold.
at all.
He passed out. We bored him.
Yeah, from all this. Yeah, we just bored him with all the German Goth industrial talk. Sorry, Mom. Sorry.